murderless, a murderless murder mystery. Introducing Professor Bloom. Stand up, please, or wave. Oh, you're Professor. I know. Miss Violet. Colonel Hines.
You're not that anymore. You're the dead person.
And the butler. Are you ready?
Don't take a video, Trace.
I am.
Oh, this is horrible.
When a body is discovered in the study, murdered with a candlestick, the accusations about who committed the murder start to fly. The only problem is no one has a motive. Everyone has an alibi, and there aren't any clues.
Will my phone record this whole thing? Does it go that
You're
long?
going to have to do more than one video.
Beginning with Professor Bloom.
What in heavens? A murder? On the occasion, I'd say the butler did it. But you we're the butler. Wait, can I get my little candlestick?
What are you doing? That's on the
Wait,
floor.
I thought this bends down to cover inspection and picks up the candlestick.
I'm going to stand behind you.
Must have delivered a blunt trauma to the cranium. A wrenched business. Did he crack the skull? Did he suffer a fatal hematoma? Miss Violet? Professor Bloom!
These girls are
Oh
funny.
my God! Miss Violet!
I said Professor Bloom.
It's not how it looks.
It's not how it looks. It looks like you're holding a murder weapon.
Well then, it is how it looks, but I didn't murder him. As a professor of anatomy, I was merely performing an examination. An autopsy.
An autopsy? Or are you instead admiring your handiwork? I know your type.
My type?
Bookish, impersonal, cunning. You spend all day with your books in your laboratory studying the human anatomy, the way the butchers study cuts of meat. But once you let out of your lab, you can't help yourself. Here at a dinner party amongst the living, you smell our warm blood. You resent the rosy flush to our cheeks after a glass of wine. The lively laughter that comes with dinner conversation pierces your eardrums. It drives you mad. Mad, until you snap. And then out comes the murder weapon, a candlestick.
Yeah.
How cliched. My only question is why? Why the butler? Did he leave you waiting outside too long in the rain after you rang the doorbell? Did he spill some water on your dinner sleeve, or your sleeve at dinner? Which of your precious sensibilities did he offend before you choose to murder him in cold blood?
You're acting quite hysterically, Miss Violet.
Am I? Am I offending one of your sensibilities? Shall I be your next victim?
I assure you that if we continue carrying on in such an offensive manner, then I may very well consider murdering you.
Back away from Miss Violet. As an officer in Her Majesty's Royal Army, I have been trained to dispatch more horrid brutes than you. Do not make me resort to deadly force.
For crying out loud, I am not a murderer.
Oh. And next, you'll be trying to convince me that you did not murder the butler.
I did not murder the butler.
You coward, you stand here holding the murder weapon and menacing this defenseless dame. Were I less civilized, I would murder you with my bare hands right now. But as a gentleman, I instead place you under citizen's arrest and remand you to my custody until local law enforcement authorities arrive. Although I arbor uttering the words, you do have rights and you will receive legal counsel. But mark my words, the truth will come out, and when it does, you will be condemned for those dastardly deeds. The truth always comes out, and you will be punished.
Hines! I did not murder anybody. I discovered the body here in the study moments before Miss Violet entered the room to find me examining the body.
I found him finishing off the kill by strangling questions is what he means.
That's impossible. For one, if he was only minutes dead, he would still be warm. The butler's quite cold. He's been there for at least an hour. We finished dinner over an hour ago. I haven't seen the butler since.
That's true. Come to think of it, I haven't seen the butler since the first course.
You mean he's been lying there since the salad and nobody noticed? It's as if he's been employed at the mansion for so long that he's like an old dusty suit of armor. That's been on display in a corner for hundreds of years that no one takes the time to notice anymore. Or a former prize-winning rose bush that continues to bloom in the garden, but nobody prunes it, nobody tends it, and it gets consumed by the overgrowth, falls into the shadows, forgotten, abandoned. What a sad, sad end for a sad, sad man.
Miss Violet tends to over-exaggerate and dramatize.
I was quite moved by her eulogy, despite its rather depressing theme.
And why shouldn't we be moved by such a life? A life of bending to our every whim. A life of gracious servitude, with never a word of protest, nary a disapproving look of judgment. He dedicated his life to serving others, yet he's not even missed when he's been murdered.
Oh, madam, if only you had been there at the Battle of Brixton Hill to eulogize my brave, my brave fallen comrades, or with us during the siege of the Corn College, when so many perished. Your words soothe like a balm. You must be a poet.
A novelist, actually.
Really? What kind of novel?
One full of romance, daring adventure, strapping heroes, and breathtaking heroines.
Well, right up my alley by the sound of it.
Lusty boudoir fantasy?
Are you embarrassed by the physical cravings of the male and female species? Professor, well, I am not. They appear in my books because such senses are part and parcel of lives well lived.
Here, here, Miss Violet.
Boudice rivers do not frequent my bedside reading table.
Perhaps they should.
Ridiculous. Perhaps if your mind was more frequently engaged with the world of facts as opposed to your brawny, impulsive, vulgar fictions, you would not jump to bizarre conclusions such as my murder of the butler.
It doesn't take someone with a wild imagination to think you're a murderer when you've got one hand wrapped around the neck of a dead body and the other hand holding the murder weapon. Those are facts, Professor, not fiction.
Oh, sorry.
No. You. Louder. You, Mackenzie.
Oh, sounds like another satisfied reader of Miss Violet's latest work.
Mom again.
It's the butler.
Just as I feared. The professor has injected him with a concoction that reanimates the dead. You are nothing more than a mad scientist, Professor Plume. A wild megalomaniac.
Why, that's preposterous. There must be a logical explanation.
Get up.
Rise up off the ground.
Get up. Stretch your neck.
Get up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say this part.
Be surprised. What's your line?
Excuse me.
Excuse you for being a demonic manifestation of the undead?
Pardon?
Please, tell me, what's it like?
What look like, sir?
Death. Is there a heaven, or is it all blackness, a great void?
I'm not quite sure what you're getting at, sir.
But you were dead.
What?
You were?
Weren't you?
It seems like it's something I do very deep. I do very deep breathing. Excuse very exercise every night on the floor to ease my back pain. Reduce the blood pressure. My doctor seems to think it helps.
But the candlestick, the blood trauma.
Grab the candlestick.
Is that fall again? You can't slam a door in this house without falling off the mantle. Sir, I've tried everything, even stick 'em weights, but the base is too wide for the mantle. And the mantle isn't level. Anyway, nothing in this old house is, not the floors, not the doors, rails, if I may say so. That's all the fuss about death and demons.
No fuss, nothing at all to worry about. It seems we're just an ordinary, run-of-the-mill dinner party.
Where nothing fantastic or bizarre occurred at all.
May I suggest we return to the dining room for some sherry?
A fantastic idea, sir. Please let me lead the way.
Great Scott! Not another murder!